So here's the old unit. I'm not sure what was wrong with it. It looks weathered, but she still had free movement. I don't see why it didn't work. There's a few pieces coming off of it. Yeah, that one's no good. It ain't time yet, but at this point, a guy just wants to try and start it up and see what happens, right? So I might hook up the battery charger to it, hook up the battery, turn it over and see what happens. Well, she does not want to start. I might even have to go get a battery. I don't think it's getting any fuel, to be honest with you. I think that's our whole problem. No fuel. So all of a sudden I remembered that when I parked it, it didn't have much gas in it. So maybe it's just low on fuel. So I just added about 4.2 gallons of premium gas. Now we're going to see if that works. So maybe it will, maybe it won't. Let's see. Alright, so here's an update. Everything's together and it should run right now. I don't have any coolant in it yet because I don't have the radiator down, but I got everything plugged in and it should start, but it's just turning over. And when I spray it with starting fluid, it tries to start. That made me suspect that possibly it's getting no fuel. So I got 4 gallons of premium and I poured it in, tried to start it again, and no luck. So the next thing that I did was, I don't know if you can see them from there, but right here, that supplies the fuel rails. There's 2 of them. I think one of them's a return. I don't know. Maybe one's for each side. Whatever the case is, I cracked both of those open and they were dry. There was nothing coming out of them. So when I turn the key on, I can't hear the fuel pump. It's only supposed to go for like 2 or 3 seconds, but you should hear it from back here. I went ahead and checked the fuses on the passenger side over here. On this 1990, they are right there behind the cover. That one right there, bottom right. But I checked all the fuses in here and all of them are working. It could be the relay. I didn't check the relay because it's under the dash. And I mean way up in there. And with my back, I don't really want to crawl under there. So I thought the easier thing to do would be to come back here where the fuel pump is and take this stuff off right here, vacuum it all out, clean it up, take it out, and basically the fuel pump is down in here. So what I'm gonna do is unhook the fuel pump and see if I have power to it, because that'll give me a quick idea of, is the fuel pump bad or is it the relay? And I can do all this standing up, so it's easier for me. So I went this route. I'm gonna go ahead and take all this off. This little thing right here just kind of comes up. Just kind of work it up and around, and it comes right out. And as far as the rest of this stuff, this cover right here, it's only held on by 4 15 millimeter or 15 Torx screws, whatever that Torx 15 size is. 4 of those, and then this thing pulls out. Of course, these gummy things were, yeah, they were, it was like gum. You stick it way up here and it stretches, you know. But at any rate, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. I'm gonna get to the fuel pump plugger in her, and I'm gonna check voltage to see if we got voltage come back here. See if there's voltage back here, then I know I don't have to crawl under that dash, which would be awesome for me. And that would tell me that the fuel pump has gone bad. And that's very possible. It's set for 5 years, hasn't run for 5 years, and it might just need a little bit of help. In other words, I might just have to bang on the tank with a soft mallet or something and get it broke loose and starting to work, but I don't know. We'll find out. I got the fuel pump unplugged. It's under here. And then I went in the black one for ground, and number 3, which is gray with a white stripe. Trust me, it's right there. And that's supposed to be the power to this thing. So this is the incoming one. This one goes to the fuel pump. This one goes to the car. So basically, when we turn it on, it should come up and give us 12 volts for 2 or 3 seconds. So I'll zoom in on this, show you what we got going on here. Key turned. There we got 12.56 volts. Not very long, but it's definitely there. And that's exactly what it's supposed to do. So that tells me that that fuel pump is not doing its thing. That's what's going on. So I'm glad I didn't crawl under here, because that's just hard on a guy's back after he's had 5 back surgeries. That's why this thing's been sitting so long to begin with, because I had 5 back surgeries. So yeah, I don't want to go under there. So we're looking back here now. There's a couple things I can try. Since it hasn't been running in a while, it may just be that the fuel pump is stuck. Okay? And if that's the case, I can take something like a dead blow hammer and, you know, just give it a little persuasion and see if it starts kicking on. And I can actually do that from right here, because that's the fuel pump. If you see these bolts, I don't know if you can see them down in there. There's bolts right here. They go all the way around the perimeter of that. That's the pickup screen, and the fuel pump is on the bottom of that too. So that's where all this goes. So the fuel pump is down there. So maybe a few light taps on it might get it resurrected. I don't know. Be a great day. For today is Easter, Resurrection Day. And I'd love to resurrect that pump instead of have to pull it out and put a new one in. Because apparently when you buy the pump, the sock doesn't come with it. You got to get the sock off the internet. So hopefully I won't have to do that, but it may be coming. Well, got got some good news and some bad news. I got the new fuel pump. The bad news is when I took the old one out, I don't know if you can see down in there, but yeah, that's it's nothing but rust. That's what that is. All of that has to be cleaned out. Let me go show you the thing I took out of it. The pickup and all that kind of stuff. It is ugly, ugly, ugly. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. See that? There's no way that's gonna work. Even if I cleaned it, it ain't gonna work. Okay, that's what it be like. So I gotta flush all the lines. I guess I'm gonna have to pull the tank. I don't know how else to clean it if I don't. Yay. Alright, you can't really see down in there, but I got a fuel line going down in there so I can suck that old stuff up. And I got my gasoline evaporator evacuator 2000 hooked up right here. And it's basically a motorcycle fuel pump, zip tied to the gas can so the dirty gas goes in there. And then we have an old junk battery. This got about, it's a 12 volt, but it's got about 10.32 volts left in it. It's not a good one. It's one I took out. And then we got a clampulator on there. And so all we have to do is put the clampulator over here and we're evacuating. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. Not really much to see. You can hear it. It's coming out of there. So I'm going to put my other clamp on here, aka my vice grip, and then I can move that hose around with the flashlight and see what I'm sucking up there and make sure I get the most I can out of there. Well, smells like a woodworking shop, like varnish. I got most of the gas out with my homemade pumpulator there, but it just won't get any more out, and there's still some down in there, so I got to get all that out so I can get that rust out of there. And then there's some kind of windage tray down there. You can see it right there. That thing is loose. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I guess we'll see later. I'm sure it's in there for a reason. Something to do with like when you go left and right to keep your vehicle from starving from fuel if it's low or whatever. I did read some people put some plastic bottles around their whole pumpulator thing that goes down in there. They cut it out and put plastic around it, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. That one's still attached, but it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places where it attaches, and only 2 of them are attached. So it'll probably stay there for a while, so I'll probably just clean it out and pretend like I didn't see it until I start having problems going around corners and losing fuel pressure or something like that. And then I might have to revisit this and take this whole thing back out and do the whole cut up a bottle and put it around it thingy. But we'll see. But right now, I'm going to take this rag and sacrifice it for the good of the greater cause. And I'm going to put it in there, soak up as much of that gas as I can, and toss it in this. And then find some more, and just keep doing it until I get most of that out. We'll see how it goes. So this is probably a bad idea because I don't think these are gas proof. They'll probably just melt. But I don't think that stuff down there qualifies as gas. It smells like woodworking stuff, varnish. So let me get the dust off of that. I don't want that to get in the tank with all that rust. Nope. The funny part is, when I was taking the fuel pump sending unit assembly out, I took the gas cap off, and I was trying to pry around on one of these hoses to get it off, and I noticed a bunch of rust had dropped down into the the fuel filler, but that had that little spring-loaded cap to keep it from getting down in there. I was like, I'm not going to worry about that. Thought about getting a vacuum, but then there's the whole static electricity thing. I was like, that might not be a good idea. So I didn't, and then I took that thing out and I looked down in the tank, and there was more rust in the bottom of the tank than there was in all of that filler. And it was basically that whole sending unit rusted and fell down into the tank. So the rest of the tank doesn't look that bad. It's just around, straight down in, and in that tray, and a little bit around it where it got around it. So I'm going to do my best to clean it just like this. Find all your little cuts when you dip your hand in gas and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I remember that one. Oh yeah, got a little scrape right there. I guess I'm gonna have to get some kind of chemical, because it's still got surface rust on the bottom of the tank that I'm gonna need to get out. And the problem is putting that stuff in there and then getting it back out, because I don't have any way to drain the tank. And my little fuel pump extractor thingy doesn't have much juice. I mean, it can't suck up very well, is what I'm trying to say. It's not very good at that. It's got a low volume pump, I guess. I don't know. So I might have to get some chemicals though, because I'm pretty sure I'll run into another problem here if I don't get that surface rust off the bottom of the tank. Then it's just going to come back, I think. See those clumps of rust right there? That's pretty nasty. Pretty nasty. So I'm going to go ahead and get some cleaner and degreaser cleaner and clean this off right here. Probably clean this out right here. Well, I figured out what to do with that. I just throw it on the floor. Oh well, it's perfect. Well, you can't really see in there, but it is really dirty. there's still surface rust on the bottom I need to get out. So I was gonna just scrub it with a green scrubby and some degreaser, but it's a little worse than that. So I'd rather get it out. So I have got this Evaporust Super Safe Rust Remover. It's non-toxic, biodegradable, safe on skin and eyes, and reusable. I like that part. So yeah, my plan is to put that in there, but I gotta avoid that white tray. As you can tell, I don't need the, well, here we go. I don't need the rust stuff, rust remover on that. I need it on the metal, so I gotta put something over that. So I'm gonna try to use this bag as I'm pouring it to keep it out of there. Maybe I can clamp it on there somehow, I don't know. And then once I get it down there, I'm gonna spread it around with this old paintbrush. And I got some 5mm nitrile gloves in case I gotta get my hands dirty. You know how that is. And so maybe those gloves will hold up a little better. Alright, so the new part got here. Stainless steel. Got here pretty fast. The pump doesn't come with this part. So I already had bought the pump because I was planning on changing that when I pulled the other one out and it was all rusted to pieces. So I already had that ordered. This one actually moves. Yeah, and it's got the sock on it and all that. This sock, by the way, just pushes on the bottom. Just make sure you get it on there good because you don't want it coming off. Especially if your tank might have microscopic stuff in there that it could suck up into the fuel system. Which mine probably does. I mean, I cleaned it up as good as I could. And another thing about this gasket, it only goes one way. There's 3 screws on one side and 2 on the other. So if you flip it over and try to put it on, it's not going to work. So it's pretty self-explanatory. And then the pump itself plugs right in. No biggie there. And I got these squeeze clips that came with it. I had to shorten this hose. I hope it's long enough. Looks like it is. It don't feel like it's coming off, and then that holds it, and those are holding it, and I don't know. Hopefully it works. So I used that Dura Rust stuff in here, and I'm not sure you'll be able to see any of that, but it came out pretty good. I soaked it for 2 days straight, and I kept agitating it with a paintbrush, reaching down in there, and that seemed to help quite a bit. Then when I got done, I used the old shop vac to suck it all out of there. Then I had to take rags and get the rest of it out, and then there were some clumps that it hadn't got off the bottom, so I had to stick my whole arm all the way past the elbow, which I can barely get in this because I got these massive guns right here. But the guns would barely get in there, and I was afraid I was going to be one of those 911 calls. Yeah, what's your emergency? Well, my arm is stuck in a gas tank. But I was managing to get it out in and out several times without scratching it up. So both of them had to go this way, had to go that way, and you know, you gotta scrub it all and then wipe it out. And then I took some brake cleaner on a rag and I went down there and cleaned it out and as far as I could reach on both sides. And then I took some degreaser on another clean rag and wiped that out. And then it's pretty dry right now and it looks pretty good. And I'm gonna say it's ready to go. So I'm gonna put you over here on a tripod where you can watch this thing go in, and we're gonna get her in there.